Hey guys, it is that time for us to get started with the stream show. I am DJ Strick and I am so excited about you being here with me today for this show. I got to start the show by saying this. Guess what? When you come in, please let me know that you're here and where you're watching from. This is going to be a conversation between all of us today. I really need your help with this one. Last week I had Justin Brown, a primal video here. And the questions were, Justin, can you help us with branding our YouTube channels? I think it's important for YouTube growth for us to understand the nuances of how to brand your channel just right for your audience. And while I've asked him that question, he turned it all the way around. Oh my gosh. He explained some things to us this last week that I'm going to discuss again this week. Yes, we're going to talk about branding, but in a new paradigm. Okay, because he shifted some things, and I want to be sure that you have all of the latest information. And I definitely want to shout out Jeremy for coming in and hanging out with me today. Jeremy, thank you so very much for coming in. I haven't did it yet, so there's some things that I was working on that I hadn't had a chance to open up the Zoom room. I am opening up the Zoom room so that we can continue to have that room going as well if people want to come in. And if you would like to be a part of the conversation or ask your own question, guess what? We'll make it simple for you. Join me in Zoom, and I will do my very best to have you come on and be a part of the conversation. That being said, we're talking about branding. And I definitely appreciate the time that Justin took with us to talk about branding and how, from a YouTube channel perspective, you need to be thinking about your audience. Matt, I see you, sir. Thank you for hanging out with me. It is our time. It is the stream show's time, and we want to be sure to give the people what they want, some more information, and definitely we want to get down into the question of the day. So when it's just me, man, I really enjoy talking with you guys and be a part of how it goes. Marianne, thank you. It is G-Day. Okay, there you go. Ecamm fam is in the house. Yes, we are here, and good day to you as well. And wow, I got it right. You know, when people are watching you in the future, like from Sydney, Australia, you got to respect that. They know what's going on ahead of time, and they're hanging out with us anyway. So thank you for that. So when we're thinking about branding, okay, a lot of times we're thinking about when we're talking about your YouTube channel, I want to talk about your channel banner, how it looks, the colors you're using, making sure that it's visible on all three of the particular platforms. So if someone's looking at their phone, they're looking at a tablet, and now which we have to be thinking about, guys, like, what does our channel look like when people are watching on television? Now, what Justin did, which I'm going to start with these questions for everybody today. So hang tight, people, hang with me, because I got some questions for you that I want to be sure that we all can answer together. I just want to be sure that my questions are set up right so that we can actually have them going on the screen with you so you can see it as well. So when it comes down to ownership, I can start with this while I'm getting my questions going. When it comes to ownership of your YouTube channel, who, other than YouTube and Google, of course, okay, who else owns your YouTube channel? Do me a favor. Tell me what you think. You can put it in the chat. Who owns the YouTube channel? All right. What do you think? When I talk about owning the YouTube channel, what do you think I mean? And who do you think owns it? Who is it for? A lot of times, from a YouTube channel, a YouTube creator, especially young creators, and I've done this for years myself. Hey, this is what I want to do. This is my channel. This is what I want it to be about. But what do you think, Jeremy? Marianne? Matt has already replied. Other than Google, okay, other than Google, who owns your YouTube channel? What do you think? Yes, Jerry, that's funny. He is being so literal there. But think about it. Other than Google and YouTube, when you think YouTube channel, guys, help me out. All right, and of course, Jeremy knows this answer to this question. Your community owns it. It should be built around your community, not just you. All right, there you go. There you go. Yeah, man, there you go. So your viewers, your community, your audience should own the YouTube channel. What does that mean to you? If I say it's not Google, well, Google and YouTube owns a piece, and then your audience owns a piece. What do you, when you think about your YouTube channel, or if you think about life, okay? I stream my community helps shape my content, which they very well should. And if they're helping shape it, you are not in the driver's seat. The audience is in a lot of cases, right? The audience is in the driver's seat, Matt. So now put yourself in the Ecamm family. And I can use this because this is a perfect example. Ecamm family is a perfect example of how the community owns the YouTube channel, even to the fact that it was a community member that came up with the word Ecamm fam. And I just so happened to be wearing a t-shirt. And I'm sure the coffee mug is around here somewhere. Community members came up with that. So when you think about Ecamm and all that it has to offer, their YouTube channel, which we're on today, their Facebook group, which we can see, there is a new community manager that's working there. If you haven't had a chance to see Liz and all, not Liz, man, I want to call her name right. Jeremy, help me out because I love her. It's just slipping my mind right now. But with the new community manager, Ecamm is even thinking about growth and all the things that they're trying to do, making sure that the community is right where it needs to be. All right. You're the reason the community comes together. When I own a brewery, my clientele owned the place. I was just serving them good times. There you go. There you go. Jill. Thank you, Marion. Jillian. Yes, new community manager. Shouts out to you, Jill, and the opportunity you're getting to kind of help focus our community. We are so excited about what you're going to do and what you are doing. And big shouts out to you. And thank you, Matt, as well, for helping me out with that, Marianne. So when you feel like, this is what I'm trying to get to. I'm going all the way around the mountain here to say when you feel like that you're a part of the Ecamm family, when you feel like your voice is heard, guess what? You do things a little differently, right? You are engaged in what's going on. Everybody here has been on the community Facebook group in some kind of way. You've been recognized. You've done videos for Ecamm. You've done pictures. You've posted. And that ownership into Ecamm to be a part of the Ecamm family is also driving its YouTube channel, so much so that if you're in Sydney, Australia, it is Monday morning and you're up watching, or if you're here in the States, it's Sunday night and you are engaged in the material that Ecamm is providing. That being said, I want you to think about it that way. And thanks again to Justin Brown, a Primal Video, coming in and kind of helping us shift our mindset just a little bit when it comes to our branding of our YouTube channel. He said something that I want to be sure that I get, that I restate, because I was thinking the other day, like I didn't want to sound like an idiot or sound like I was just drinking all of the Kool-Aid that Justin had. I really was. I really appreciate the way he's given us the free information that he did. And he says, your YouTube subscribers or people are subscribing to your channel. Let me say it this way. People are subscribing to your channel, not for your past videos, but for your future videos. They want to know when you're making future videos so they subscribe so they can find it faster. It's just a way that you're in their subscriber list. So if you drop a new video, there should be a notification or some way that they can get that information faster. They just put you in a folder on the side of their screen inside their YouTube or their Google so they can find you faster. I get it. I'm not sure if anybody else have thought about this differently. I always thought about having a subscriber like they were a community member, like they were helping me. This is it. I have so many subscribers. And it was about people subscribing to my channel, and it was just my perspective. And I had a hard time seeing the perspective of the subscriber, looking at why they would subscribe to my channel for future videos more than me having a vanity metric of how many people have subscribed. Does that make sense? I never thought about it. Now, of course, I don't subscribe to a lot of channels, so it's not really a big deal to me about subscribing. You got to give me a ton of information for me to say, hey, I'm putting you at the top of the list so that I can see your information for your future videos. But he helped me think about it differently, to the fact that people are subscribing from their perspective. They want to subscribe to know when you're making a future video so they can see it. They are so impressed with what you have provided, and they do not want to miss an opportunity to see more of you. Now, that being said, let's think about our branding from that perspective. I'm going to go right here to Jeremy. Hosts that engage their audience tend to do better overall. YouTube has the benefit of real-time interaction using. Well, that's what I'm trying to do, Jeremy. I definitely believe in that. So just to give some content for my perspective, I'm DJ Strick, right? It's a former radio DJ. I was on air, okay? So what I'm doing now is really no different other than, okay, I'm not playing music, but I am, just like I would be in a radio station, taking calls and allowing people's audio to go over air. Now it's video. So we can do video and audio. Of course, I have the Zoom open right now. The link is in the comments. And if people want to come on, they can actually come onto the show right now, ask me a question or make a comment and be a part of the conversation. And I just think it's really cool. I think that's really cool. Now, help me out, guys. With branding towards our audience, I have some questions. Let me see if you can help me out with these questions. Everybody is going to answer these questions. I need you in the comments. Okay, I really do need you in the comments. And let's see what we got here. I have a half screen for comments. And let's see what's going on and why it's not coming up the right way. I want to be sure that you guys see this. I don't want two of me, but I needed to refresh it so we can get to these comments, and then we'll go. All right, while I'm fixing this, first comment of the night. Almost. All right, why is it so important for creators to build their channels around their audience instead of themselves? Guess what? That is a great question that I spent a good 10 minutes already answering. But the reason why you want to do this, and really if you want to detail this down in the comments, you can. The reason why you want to build your content, build their channel around the audience instead of themselves, is because the audience is what you're trying to build. Okay, you want to be sure that you understand your audience and who they are and what they're looking for, not just about what you like. You know what should be some of the things that are built around what you like? Maybe the first, we used to say 100. It depends on how you're trying to grow your channel. I still kind of hold to 100 videos. Maybe I build 100 videos of what I like. And then I look back into the analytics and figure it all out. Okay, that's what I'll do. All right, so here we go. Jeremy is here. Let me go back so I can get you on the right screen here. So no one cares about you. Listen, if you catch this, now Jeremy says he's half joking, which is right. Um, you want to tell somebody nobody cares about you in a very subtle, joking kind of way so you get it and they're not offended. But that's the first thing, one of the first things about being in the public eye that you need to understand. When you put information out into the public, okay, it is now they own the content. They have an opportunity to give their opinion about what you do, okay? And really no one cares about you. They care about their own opinion about you more than you. That's why so much negativity is online, because that's what people like to give. They like to give negative comments, talk negatively about people. Think about all of your celebrities. This is what the media does. They hype a person up. They're the best thing ever, the best actress. They got all of these awards, Golden Globes. They got all of these things, accolades and money and houses. And as soon as they're a slight bit of, we can't control this person, they won't sing and dance for us anymore, then they have to tear them down because they don't really care about them. They care about how that person make us feel until that person didn't make us or didn't want to do the song and dance for us anymore. Okay? So what we're experiencing is something that celebrities have experienced for years. All right? But now we get a chance to experience it in our own little communities with our YouTube channels. Please understand this. I used to tell my wife this all the time because she's a musical artist. And I hope you guys take this the right way. One of the biggest artists probably in the last 20 years, 10, 20 years has been Beyonce, right? Women are infatuated with Beyonce and men really like Beyonce as well, and music and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know, and I'm being transparent when I say this because that's a conversation I have with my wife. I don't think that men, when they think about Beyonce, they think, man, I really have a lot of questions for her. I would really like to know who she is and get inside of her head and see what she think about politics and what color she likes and all this other kind of stuff. No, I don't think that that's what people are infatuated about. You have to make your own decision and think about this from what you produce. Because I see men come to our table, they want to get a signed autograph and take a picture, but I always have to remind her, like in most guys' minds, they're not like, oh, I would really like to ask you a whole lot of questions. I hope you get what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be transparent to help you guys out. They're thinking about themselves. All right? So what's the next one? What's in it for me? Point of view for your audience is always there. That's really, really good. That's one of the things that people are thinking about when they talk about your channel. Hello. Thank you for coming and hanging in. USA live streams. I do appreciate you coming through. And you do have a quick question. What are you using a green screen? This is actually a television. So I'm actually able to use this to do the stream show. This is my background. I don't have anything else. I'm kind of just in front of a television. And I kind of like the effect that it gives. But good question. Really, really good question. No worries at all. No worries. That's why we're here. We're here to help. So that being said, think about your channel and it being for the audience. I've been in conversations with the Ecamm fam talking about the stream show and what the YouTube channel, the Ecamm YouTube channel is about. And trust me, it's about you and who you are and what you're looking for. Okay? So I'm just telling you, even Ecamm is in making sure that its channel is dedicated towards its people. What are the top mistakes you see creators make when they design their channels without a clear target viewer in mind? This is kind of, guys, in the same vein. I want to see what you think as well. But I think if you built your channel based off of what you like, so I'm a black guy, so I like black, red, and white, and gray. These are the colors that I like. Okay, let me go full screen. I have a brand, Strick City, that's in that color scheme. My church's graphics are in that color scheme. Black, red, white, gray, those four colors. When I was in high school, those were the colors that we had. I just kind of resonated with it. I'm a Coca-Cola drinker, so red and white are like big colors for me, right? And I'm talking about me and my perspective, okay? My perspective about what branding would be. But you also know, like if you know anything about marketing and branding, guess what? That color scheme doesn't sell well to audiences. It's a great color scheme. I'm not talking about Coca-Cola. That's just red and white, two colors. But when you throw black in, when you throw gray in, it's a totally different concept that I think may be more for a sports team than it is for your personal branding and marketing. It's something that I like. They would tell you blues with that send. They would tell you what greens, the message that green sends, yellow, and all the things. So you have to think about, hey, what my audience really resonates with and what will make them feel good when they come to the channel more than what's your branding idea. Okay? You want to be sure that the fonts are legible, that they are readable, and you can't use all of these in cursive fonts. You want to be sure it's all kind of like in print, a sans serif. I had to get somebody on that does real graphics to be able to talk about it all. But you want to be sure that people can read your channel, that it is the graphics and the text are readable, but you also want it to be built around your audience and not just you. Okay? I think that's really cool. So let me, I know Jeremy has come in. I want to actually go, since he's here, to kind of help me talk through some of this stuff. I'm going to have Jeremy. He's going to be on twice. Look at him. I'm going to keep that there for a second and zoom it on in. And then we're going to add another camera here. And we're going to talk just a minute about what's going on. There you go, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, you were really blunt with this, but I concur. No
Yeah,
one
I
cares
mean,
about you.
it's like you said though. It's like you're. That's why I put half joking because I mean, obviously, what you were saying about like Beyonce, for instance. I mean, you kind of want to know about the person. You kind of want to know a little bit about what makes them tick and identify with them. But at the same time, they're coming to your channel. I stumble across channels all the time where I normally would have never uh, looked for or sought out a particular person. I sought out the content, and that's what YouTube is recommending to me is
Right,
the content, not necessarily the person.
right,
So that was it. And I could. People told me, and this was something that you have to learn when you're first getting into this business is that. Yeah, people don't care about you. I mean, I remember telling all my relatives and friends, hey, I got a YouTube channel. Not one of them subscribed. Not
right,
one.
right. And
So it's
even if
like,
they
you
did,
know,
they wouldn't be your
yeah,
audience.
right. Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it was just to kind of get them to, get some subscribers, right?
Right,
And
right,
then they're just like, yeah, whatever. Go talk about your whatever you're talking about.
right,
So,
right, right, right.
you know.
And that is true. I got a good question here for us, Jeremy,
Okay.
and from Paul, and I want to answer this question. Um, Paul says he's always struggled with conformity. He says his brain just doesn't do the sameness. And I think this
Yeah.
is a great question. I think this is a great question because um, in some sense of the matter, okay, you do feel like your YouTube channel is your channel, right? Like
Sure.
I went to Google, I signed up for this, I did this, I have control. I upload videos,
Right.
okay?
Exactly.
I spent the time making the content for the videos, and I just think that I'm controlling it. It should be what I want. I want to be able to create the videos that I want to create. I'm hoping, Paul,
Uh,
that I'm not putting all of these words in your mouth, but Jeremy, when you hear that, what do you think?
I was right there. I was right there. I was like, I did all the work. You're just coming because I made this for you. And yeah, it's the reality is, and look, I'm actually just like Paul. One of the many reasons that I don't uh have a lot of the I don't get like the goodies that a lot of the Ecamm moderators get because I kind of put aside the manufacturers and stuff like that. I don't have that. We've talked about it multiple times. I don't have an SM7B. I will never get an SM7B because I like my RE20.
Right?
Therefore, I probably won't be on Shure's good graces. I don't care. I mean, there was a time where I did care, and I did struggle like that. I was just like, what do I need to do to break in to get people to watch me, to notice me, and then you just realize you just be yourself because there's tons of people out there like you. There's tons of them, and when they identify with you, and they more importantly they identify with the content you're bringing to the table, nothing else really matters.
Right.
So you just got to you got to let that mind or let that mindset kind of fade away to the background. You know.
That's true.
Um,
I I used to think about this all the time. So our channel, the stream show actually
mhm,
started with myself and Brent Collins and myself. And it was two of us trying to do the show, teaching people how to live stream. And between the two of
right.
us, 40 plus years worth of media experience. And this was one of the things that kind of got to us as individuals. How, because we were struggling with, and I'm using Paul's term, conformity of
Hmm.
being what our audience needs us to be because that's what the audience wants. Two things. You could do what you want to do, just don't expect the growth in the time frame that you want it to be or for the growth to be fast. Let me say it that
Right.
way. You own the channel, you create the content. I want to do this on the back end. Don't expect to have a channel that grows to 1 million in 2 months. I'm just
Right.
being honest with you. Like, there are tons of channels of people doing what they want to do, and they have an audience. Their audience just did not come as fast as some of the other channels. All right, i.e., people that have lifestyle channels. Okay,
Hmm.
guess what? They are building off of their lifestyle. So it's about them. They are the personality, they build the content. It's about them, right? Those
Right.
channels usually don't grow as fast. They don't have the fast. Do they have subscribers? There are some great channels with tons of subscribers, but they didn't get there the same way that some other channels with the creator understood that, yes, I've made
Right.
100 videos. People resonated with this style of video and this content, and I pivoted to just doing that. Does that make sense, Jeremy?
Total, total sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're okay with that,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with it. Hey, YouTube is an opt-in program, right?
It
You
is.
know, you're not forced to do it. And so once you decide, make that decision, make that call to start your channel and start uploading or start going live, it is your show. It just depends on what your goal is.
Goal is.
Right, if your goal is max subscribers as quickly as possible, well, you're going to have to probably, if you do have struggles with conformity, um, you may find yourself, behind the curve a little bit when it
Right.
comes to channel growth. Um,
Because
and
people that are
if
doing, Jeremy, people that are doing what they want to do are not going to Google Trends. They're not seeking out, hey,
right,
what are people searching for? Those
right,
are things that some of the channels that grow faster, that's what they're doing. They're figuring out the trends. They're figuring out, hey,
yep,
what are people searching for? Hey, this big content creator has all these comments with people asking these questions. Let me go in and make a video about some of the questions that people are asking that's in my niche. Those are the
right,
channels that are growing faster because they have decided to go a particular direction that the audience is looking for.
correct,
But
correct.
I agree
And that goes
100%.
that goes back to what we were just saying though at the beginning, is that they're the ones that own the channel.
They are the ones that
You're
own the
delivering the
channel.
content, right?
You're
So
building it.
you started it. Yeah, you're
Right.
building it, and you're but I mean, the reason why you look at analytics, the reason why you carve out your niche is because you're building a location for people to come on YouTube and absorb the content that you're creating.
That's right.
And that's what it boils down to. That's why people look at metrics.
That's so true. That is
So
so true. All right, Paul. I hope I help you. Please let us know if you got more questions that direction. Please let us know. There she is, Kathy Walker is hanging out with us today. Good to see
hey,
you, ma'am.
hey,
The principal's in the building, and then my guy Hank. What's going on, fellas? Hank,
what's up,
man,
Hank?
it's so very good to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming through and making a comment. I have several people on watching today. Apparently, I haven't did a good job of giving you content that you are willing to hit the like button for. If you're enjoying the conversation, please hit the like button and give us a comment. Like, be a part of the conversation that we're having today. I don't mind you coming through and hanging out using the Zoom link. Please do that. So let's get right back to it because Paul does have some more that he wants to give. I've certainly taken the slow route, and that's what happens, right? 15 years, I have
Hmm?
13,000 subs. I promise I don't hate money, but I gotta be me, LOL. I use the tips that work for me, time, schedule, and personality. And I
Yep.
completely agree with that 100%. You just have to know that you're in the driver's seat, and if you're in the driver's seat, I promise I don't hate money. In this case, 15 years in, you have a, if you don't have a choice, there's some choices for you. We can continue to do what we have been doing to get the response that we're getting, or we can change a little bit and get a different response. Right? What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, for sure. I'm reminded of a time I used to, I had a software company, and my primary investor was over in Japan. And I thought I could whip out my, American razzle dazzle and, be who I am in order to secure the funding that I needed to get the company launched. And one of my buddies, who's Japanese, told me, he said, we have a saying here. It says that the nail that sticks up will get hammered down.
Okay.
And that that it kind of ties into the messaging here, is that if you want to stick up, that YouTube's way of hammering you down is not showing your content to new subscribers, right? And sometimes that sticking up is good, and sometimes it's not so good. It really just comes down to what you're bringing to the table, and is it of any interest to anybody else? That's really, I mean, and if you like your content, and other people come on, I think 13,000 subscribers is fine. I mean, if you're not looking for channel growth, um yeah, 1,000 subscribers a year. I mean, I
Right.
think I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Strick, but don't the numbers kind of, is it kind of like a snowball effect?
It
Once
is.
you,
It is.
yeah. So
So you got a
so
point
once
at
you
about
get,
2,000, and then another
yeah,
point at about 10,000, and then by that time, the algorithm kind of knows your audience, and it will
right,
recommend you to some people, and it will just continue to grow from there. 13,000 13,000 is right. He's at
Hmm.
a good number. That there should be enough information from those 13,000 people that YouTube would know who in the network they need to be recommending
Right.
your content for. So it is really good. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you're an Ecamm user. Why not be an Ecamm user, man? That's how you make
I
great
know.
content.
That's right.
Yeah. But that's good. And we all thought that. And I appreciate the great discussion. Our discussion today, and I appreciate Jeremy coming on to be a part of this, is about you. Okay, it's about the audience. I will be honest with you. I do struggle sometimes being a gatekeeper. I mean, guess what? Just like everything that ChatGPT does. What's up, Ronaldo? Good to have you hanging out with us today. It's like all the stuff that what is that ChatGPT does, and people automatically go out there and teach you how to do it. I'm not teaching people how to do it automatically, Jeremy. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing it. I'm building, so
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
teaching people how to build this. And I say it all the time. Hey, I made this, this, and this. Do you want to know how it's made? Here's the prompts you could use. I'm not making that video because I feel like while I'm teaching somebody how to do the prompt, I could have made 20 different, I could have created during that time. But that's me. I have a
Sure.
hard time with that. To be very thoughtful about that. Well, I appreciate you
Yeah.
listening. That's what's up.
See, I don't know if gatekeeping is a bad thing. I mean, I my fear is with knowing information is that if I pass it along, am I passing along the right information?
Right, right.
You know, my interpretation of things, like I'm getting into 3D printing. I'm actually at the local library's makerspace today,
That's
and
what's
I've got
up.
my little yeah. So they've got a bank of Google donated some money to this place, and they picked up 6 3D printers. So it's taking me 2 hours to print a little part. Anyway, and I'm learning all this stuff about 3D, I'm sorry, not 3D printing,
Praying. That's
and
awesome.
and I want to get into maybe this is something that I could turn around and turn into content for other people. Because I've looked at the space and I've looked at the other creators. They call them makers, by the way. They're
Okay.
not creators, they're makers. And so I wish we could all settle on a term. We all create stuff. I just don't. I don't know. Whatever. That's a beef I've got. But the knowing information is great and passing it along is even better. But like I said, I don't, sometimes I worry that I'm going to say something that, I'm going to get slam dunked in the comment section. And I
Gotcha.
just, I don't know. That's my worry,
I got you.
right? I take things personally. And that's one of those things that people say all the time. You can't take negativity personally because there will always be negativity.
Right.
But man, sometimes it's really hard. It's
I,
really hard. Some
I
of
can
the stuff that
understand that.
people
I can
write,
understand that
you know.
because if one thing that I know about AI, there's always multiple ways to do the same thing. I
Have
don't
you ever
know.
had ChatGPT roast you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you should just say, "Can you roast me?" and just watch what it puts
Oh
out.
no, it's gonna hurt my feelings,
It's
man. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I saw today where you can a video about what's that? Activating your AI to whether you to where you could tell it certain things to activate it to be able to have more conversations with it. And I'm not
Oh,
doing
I've not
that.
seen that.
Just
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
no.
doing that. Just I need some questions for the show. This is what the show about. Give me 10 questions. That's all I need you for.
Right, right,
That
exactly.
kind of stuff.
Goodbye.
Let's just stay a computer for a little while, okay? And then
Yeah.
later on we'll talk about having conversations. I do not need an AI companion at all. All right.
Oh no,
So
no.
I think what are some of the top mistakes we see creators make when they're designing their channel without viewers in mind? Guess what? I don't think it depends on what you want. I just think that you're gonna have slow growth. When you're creating and
Yeah.
not having the audience in mind. How can you create identity? I guess with the ideal audience. Identify who the ideal audience is and what should they do once they figure that out. Good question. I stumbled through all of that, but you guys get the information here. I think, and why are there two of me here? I do not know.
You just like seeing yourself.
Well, Jeremy, that is so true. It really is true. I think I was building this and stopped. All right. And so all of this got really small for whatever reason. There's something locked on my keypad. I don't know what it is. That being said, my recommendation, Jeremy, you can tell me if you think differently, is that you're
Okay.
doing 100 videos. And once you do 100 videos, then you look at the analytics. I think you can go through and enjoy yourself and enjoy making videos and enjoy all that comes out of making videos and do what Paul does and not conform. I want to be in this niche. You have made a decision that I want to talk about this thing for the rest of my
Right.
life. This is what I love to talk about. So I give niches like you love it, you're skilled at it, and it solves a problem. Those are three things that when I teach people how to choose a niche, what do you love to do? What are you skilled
Yep.
at? And how is that thing solving a person's problem, answering a question, or helping them? And if you can answer those three things, I feel like you got a good niche to be in. Okay? Um, and then make 100 videos that way and then go back and look at the analytics of those videos. That's
Yeah.
my
Or you
recommendation.
can just start making videos. Just go and then if you want to peek at the analytics from time to time. But I agree with you that there should be a pretty good sample size so you can say, why did that video do better than that one?
Right.
And how long are people watching it? And where are they dropping off? Why are they dropping off? And going to those sections in those videos and going, oh, because so and so picked his nose and they right dropped out or whatever. It's just it could be anything.
It
It's
could be
just that
anything.
that the content that that curve that people can see of every one of their videos. Um, and YouTube will tell you. It'll say, people watch on average for this, which is above or below your average, or above or below the overall average. It'll tell you that stuff, and you sometimes. I think the hardest part for that trick is when you find out what is resonating with people and it's not what you hope for.
Right. That's what Paul was talking about. He says, I don't want to conform. Like, forget what the audience like.
Yeah.
If the audience comes back, I did a show, Jeremy, I did a show with on my YouTube channel with a local music producer and record label um, guy, owner, and Greg Fillinganes. Greg Fillinganes is a artist, piano player that's very famous, tons of music out there, but he was the piano player that toured with Michael Jackson in the 80s. So a big
Wow.
show talking about his experience with Michael Jackson. Guess who that resonated with? The Michael Jackson audience. They
Hmm.
loved it. My, at the time, biggest video yet. Live and replay value just to the moon. Okay?
Yep.
Guess what? I'm not that type of Michael Jackson fan. And I'm not going to be the host for Michael Jackson's fan base. So that was a one of. I think I actually did that video with him twice, but one of them was on Facebook, one was on YouTube. The one that was on YouTube, YouTube archives so much better, so people were able to see it, see it, see it, see it, see it. And to
Right.
this day, and it's probably 3 or 4 years old, people are still watching that video more than any other video. But on my page, there's no other content about Michael Jackson. I am not that host for the
Right.
community. I'm just not. I'm not building for that community. So guess what? Regardless of what the audience is saying about that video, I'm not making another one. That's my choice. Now, if I was told at the time, hey, let's double down on that. No, I don't want to double down on that. That was
Yeah,
my
well, I
decision.
mean, it's your channel,
It's my
number one.
right.
You didn't sign a contract saying you were going to make Michael Jackson
I did
branded
that.
content,
I did that.
right? So, and it's like, well, even if I was successful, am I going to be happy doing this? And do I
Right.
really want to go down this rabbit hole?
Right.
I mean,
You have a
all of a sudden
choice.
you become, yeah, you do have a choice. You don't have to do anything. It's just, yeah, same thing. There's been content on some of the channels that I have that resonates with people, especially the Cajun channel that I have. My cousin and I, we want to make it about the history and the culture of the region and the people. And by far, the videos that do the best are the silly, goofy videos where we cook all kinds of wild and crazy stuff. And that's what people like to watch. It
Right.
has nothing to do with the history or the culture. That people could care less about that.
Right.
So, and it's kind of it's deflating, but at the same time, I'm not doing this to get independently wealthy. So I don't really care. We'll just keep pumping out the content we want, and maybe somebody will find it useful, maybe they won't. Just keeps me trained on Ecamm, really.
Right. Right.
That's
Continue to
that's
make it better. All right. So
yeah.
Tornado is like, hey, the community feedback is great. Watch what people comment or DM you. The biggest fans will tell you what they love. Just listen. I completely
Mm-hmm.
agree with that. 100%.
100%.
Completely agree with that. Teasing out useful information from YouTube analytics is a skill that should be mastered. It ain't easy. So, this is a great example where Matt is making a comment that I resonate with, and most people resonate with. So, what do I do if I'm a channel that really wants to help people with streaming and understanding branding? And I'm telling you, make 100 videos and then look back at the analytics. And then Matt says, well, looking at it is not easy. Guess what? Ding, 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 ding. That's content. I need to create that video. All right, I need to have a live stream one day, and we're going through and we're teaching people how to read YouTube analytics. Boom. That's it, guys. That's how simple it can be. I like that. Thank you, Matt, giving me something to do. Um, make as many videos as it takes to figure out your voice, your audience, and your value, and keep getting better as you go. I mean, every time they come to the show, they have so many great comments. Tornado, I mean, just
Hmm.
great comments. That is so true. That is so true. He was an
What's the
awesome.
rule? What's the rule? The try and make your show 1% better, or your content 1% better each time you hit the record button,
I
something
like
like that.
that. I like that.
Yeah,
You want to do and be better all the time. Um,
yeah,
And that do and be better goes into another part of how consistent you are with your content. If you can't build content in a systematic way, I like to call it in a rhythm that you can get better with, you need to get a rhythm to where each time is better than the last.
right.
So I wouldn't go on, it'll be my recommendation. If I can't get a better video out the next time. Like someone thinking, well, I'm going to be live every day. How can you be live every day and make that next live better than before? Timing, research, content. It could be difficult depending on what your show is about and how you build it to be able to do it every day as a one-man band.
Oh, sure.
All right. So let me see. Yeah, he was an awesome songwriter too. So see, you talk about Michael Jackson. Oh, she may be saying Feeling Games. Greg Feeling Games was an awesome songwriter as well, which he was, which and is. I was actually doing that show, Jeremy, and
Yeah.
while I was interviewing Greg Feeling Games, he got a call, and he tells me the guy's real name, like Bill Johnson or something like that. He got a call, and he's like, "I got this call," and it turns out that Smokey Robinson, the singer Smokey Robinson, was calling him while he was live on the show with me. I mean, if I wanted to
Wow.
go down this route and talk to all of the Motown people and all the people that in the 70s and 80s were the R&B, I guess I could. It was a great show. People loved it. That's not what I wanted to talk about. Making
Why?
a
Well, that's
making 100 bad videos without reflection won't help much. It will not. You gotta review, adapt, and level up as you go. Man,
yeah,
I just think
that's
that
true.
that's the way you. That's it. That's it. Great advice.
But you know what? You got to leave those videos up. The bad ones you make,
Yes, leave them
got
up.
to leave them up
I agree.
because, well,
I
first of
agree.
all, it helps your analytics, but it also it gives you a much clearer understanding of how far you've come.
That's
Hopefully,
true.
you've advanced 1% each video you've done, right? So if you put out a bunch of junk, I mean, well, first of all, your audience is never going to grow. That should be indicator number one.
Right.
But then on top of that, if you're not even just peeking at those analytics just to kind of see, all right, maybe I need to do this or that. But I mean, come on, we all know, what you could do better at. I mean, if you really look inwards, look at yourself and go, I should really do this. I should
Right.
really do that. And
Right.
you had a you had a kind of a come to Jesus moment where you're like, I can go down this road and talk about Michael Jackson all I want, and I'll be popular. I'll have a great channel. I have tons of subscribers. But you didn't want to do that,
Didn't want to do
so
it.
you didn't.
I lost all. I'm like
So
Paul. I must hate money. Why'd you just take the money, Strick? I just didn't want to be that guy. You should be passionate about the content you're making. I wasn't passionate about making that type
yep.
content. Uh, can you make those type videos over and over again? Need to be sustainable. So
Sure.
whatever catches on, can you make that same type of video over and over again? Marianne, you that's great advice. Can you do it? Are you passionate about it? This is what I like to talk to people when you say, hey, what is your niche? Like, what are you passionate about? Can you continue to do that? That a lead singer of a famous band, still touring band, on for an interview that should have resonated with not only my audience but many others, and it did less than 100 views. Shaking my head. That is
We've all
a
been
good
there.
one. That is a good one. You secure like the person. All right. This is the person that's
Right.
just going to just kill it. I know when I get them on my show, like this is going to just be the bee's knees. I don't know who says that, but I know that's a saying.
We do,
Um,
Strick.
this
We're
show is
that
going
old,
to
man.
kill them. I mean, just think about it. I don't know if this ever happened to you, Jeremy, but like I got the guest of all guests coming and
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Nobody watches it. Nobody
Yeah.
resonates with it. I have a video on my channel right now, Paul, that is 3 or 4 years old now, with Roy Woods Jr., the comedian. All right, he's blowing up with a show on CNN. He was from my area. He was on the radio station that I was on. I secured him as a guest. And great interview. He was actually using Ecamm or had used Ecamm, so he was familiar with Ecamm. He was at home, so it was during the pandemic. He didn't have the best like video setup at the time, but we had a great conversation. Da 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 da. It was a little bit of a flop, and it wasn't his fault. It was more of my fault than anything. And this is what I'm going to recommend. Just because over time it didn't get those views, change the thumbnail, change the title, and try to find other things that you can add in. Like put it into, man, here you go. Let's put the transcript into something like chat gpt that could read the transcript. All right, from that transcript of the show, asked it for a title and show description, and then from there you want to start placing that url with a different you can even a/b test two new thumbnails to your audience. Add it into maybe your email list and say, hey guys, if you missed this show, I had such and such on. Take clips
Hmm.
of that show, which interesting points using Opus clips. Uh, that's what I would do. Okay. I would clip it
Yeah.
up with Opus clips, sending them to the YouTube link of the video. I would email it to the email list where I'm sure you have an email list by now where some of your audience is there, or you can get to them. And I would try my best to make it more discoverable to people that don't know who you are, using that artist as your carrot for them to watch. And that's my short master class. Jeremy, what do you think?
I agree 100%. And I've been in the exact same boat. I had one influencer that lives down in New Orleans, teaches drama. He's got he's on three different platforms, well over 2 million followers, and his episode uh is probably one of the worst performing episodes of my channel.
Wow.
And because it had nothing to do with the overall theme of the channel. It was kind of an offshoot,
Gotcha.
right? But the way YouTube is sending out my content, and with the way YouTube sees my content being responded to, it I think I confused the algorithm, to be honest with you. It's like, what is this?
Right.
Something out of left field.
Right.
Never, never, never gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So, I mean, I feel your pain. I do. That's
Here's
yeah.
another way to trick
Eh,
the algorithm or to help yourself out is to it's a way to grow your channel, but it's also a way of putting that video in a place where it can be seen. If that person has multiple videos, make a playlist just for that video
yeah,
being first or
yeah,
second. And then that playlist is just about that artist. And you say, man, I'll be giving that person a lot to have a playlist out there about them, but you're
yeah,
putting your video out there in the first or second listing so it can be seen better. So everybody that click through, getting clicks on that video would help as building a playlist for it. Just an idea.
yeah. And
Just
your comments around like using Opus Clip and
uh-huh.
changing the thumbnail or running the transcript through Chat GPT. I as a matter of course, for me, on every single thing I do now, because YouTube has A/B testing for thumbnails, I always generate multiple thumbnails, even if it's just a different color of one of the components on the thumbnail. I just do that just to see what people respond to. I always run my transcripts through ChatGPT to write that one paragraph description that's designed specifically for YouTube. And if for some reason, and the title, same thing. I also use a product called vidIQ to,
Uh-huh.
it supposedly rates my titles,
Right.
but I feel like sometimes it gets this is a huge tip. If you want to lose audience, people, do clickbait titles.
Gotcha. I do
You're
not
gonna
like
you're gonna
that.
see people. Yeah, oh, man, that's the worst. It's the worst. And you see these videos and you're like, "Oh, that's interesting." You click it and people are out in 10 seconds
I
because they
will
know all of a sudden that they've been
and
had.
now I agree with you with that. You have to, people just have a negative response to clickbait. But I
Mhm.
said negative because what's in my mind is people do like negative titles. Don't buy
Yes.
this. Before you buy this, watch this. There are ways to use. I guess our society our society is so negative to be able to use negative terms to get people to click on it too. Even though it's a positive
Hmm.
video, there's a way that I've seen people start with the negative. That being said, this is why you should buy it. And
Right.
I'm one of those kind of people that kind of like that style because I do think it kind of hits home easier for folks
Yeah.
because we click on negative stuff all the time.
All
I
the
I have followed no rules, okay, but learned
time.
along the way, ignore what they said, and totally changed the channel content at 14,000 and jumped to 17. I'm only 700 away from 30,000 subscribers.
That's
That
awesome.
is awesome. That is awesome. That's a testimony
Yeah.
right there of what it is all about. I love that. That's a good story, Paul. Y'all need to talk because right where you were, she's explaining, hey, this is what happened. Yes, as soon as I see low click through rate for my videos, I update either the thumbnail or the title or see if it improves. Great advice on the chat GPT. There you go. Ba, 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 ba. I use open clips and share on all the things. This is not my first flop video, and I understand
And
it won't
it
be
won't be
my
my last.
last.
At least he's
Yeah.
being honest with himself. That's good.
Right, right,
So,
right. You have to have a resilient mindset in this YouTube game.
yeah.
Paul, you are completely right, sir. You are completely right.
Yep.
It is one of those things that, sometimes you just hit and miss. I will be honest with you. There's some people that made videos, all right, they did the best job they could. All right. Hey, I'm going to make this one video. This is the testimony inside of the stream show. You have to watch the one I did with Kevin Colby. Watch Kevin Colby's interview.
Kevin's awesome. He's
Kevin is
awesome.
awesome. Kevin is a part of our community, and he'd been making videos, and then he decided, I want to make this video for people over 40. He's still coaching, and
Mhm.
he's still talking about it, but that title resonated with his audience, and overnight, it went viral for him. And
Mhm.
all he's doing now is staying in that vein of talking to that audience over 40 that wants to be on YouTube. And it changed the directory. Now, I think he already had 10,000 subscribers, but what that did was just put him in a certain mark. He just twisted one thing about his audience that he was going towards, and now he has a way to make content from the comments inside of those videos, and he's got content on top of content just waiting to be put out there, not using
Mhm.
any other source other than what his audience is saying, and he's continuing
Mhm.
to grow. So those are things
You know,
to be thinking about. Yes, sir.
one of the things that I've come to recognize, and I knew this. I'm seeing it a lot more frequently now that I'm paying attention to it, and that is a consistent format to your content.
Gotcha.
Meaning, so for instance, Strick, when you were a DJ, the radio station had, okay, this many minutes after the hour we're going to run this spot,
Right.
so on and so forth, right? And you knew you had your segments
Right.
that you went through, right? And those, even though the content may have changed, the structure of the segments was more or less consistent.
Right.
And that gives people audio and, in this case, visual cues as what's coming next, and it kind of keeps them, they watch enough of your videos, they'll hear the outro music, they know that the thing's coming to, they may have never looked at the timeline, they just hear that music and they know the show's coming to an end.
Right.
Or you're going to start off a show, and we're going to, a guy I follow, he starts off kind of just blam, goes right into it, and then he has his intro music, and then he starts off with his show. So he kind of primes his audience for what is about to come.
Right.
They stick through his longer than usual intro music, and then he goes right into the show because that's, they've been trained to
To do that.
respond that way.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, that's something I got to work better at because I'm all over the place. And I think that that's something that people will find, at least in my experience, the YouTube creators that are out there, the people in general, that any kind of shows that you watch, any kind of content that you consume has a structure to it. If it has a structure to it, it's generally more successful than just complete random stuff,
Like
you know?
that. I like
So,
that. So it kind of goes in line with what you're saying, goes in line with what Justin Brown said last week when he was here. And to round up his advice, it was to make better content. Yeah,
mhm,
we're talking about all the branding. He says, oh, that's good. But if you really want to affect your audience, make better content. At the end of the day,
yeah,
sometimes we
yeah,
have videos that don't resonate because maybe it is not your best piece of content, even with the biggest artist. Okay, you just never
Yeah.
know. You just never know. Like, what is it? If you looked at the video and if you looked at what you provided to your audience, why did it not resonate? Like, we know that you only have so much time in the beginning of that video to really grab people's attention. If you don't, nobody's scrubbing through, nobody's fast forwarding to get to the good. I
Right.
mean, sometimes people will do that to help you, but for the most case, you have seconds to grab them to watch this video. Even if it is an interview or anything else that you're doing, live videos hurt the worst. You know why? Because we do
Yeah.
so much talking on the front end that has nothing to do, because we're talking to our audience, has nothing to do about the
Yeah.
topic that day. So we have to be mindful about that as well. So I really like that. So there's another one. I'm gonna wrap up with this, Jeremy.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is isn't just a great script tool. It is clearly okay. It is a tool, right? Use it to sharpen your niche, your voice, and your strategy. That's a real growth hack. Okay, I like that. And
I mean,
maybe it could throw the transcript in and say, hey, how can I have done this better, and see what it reviews. It's kind of like what you asked me earlier, Jeremy. Have you asked ChatGPT to roast you? So
right.
using this transcript, how could I have made this content better? And those things, I'm really thinking about it now as a content creator that really wants to do things better. Not that you have to change audience or your voice, but you can change the quality of your content by searching and updating some things about yourself. Not changing like what you talk about, but hey, how can I do what I do better? ChatGPT, how could I have done this better? Tell me, give me a good review on this content and see what it says.
Yep.
And I think it would be more honest than a human being would be.
Oh, 100%. It doesn't care about your feelings. Like I said, just ask it to roast you. It doesn't care about your feelings at
That's
all.
funny. That's
And
funny.
it'll tell you, you could have done this or you could have done that. I don't know where the thing is that where is this information coming from? Right? And is it valid, or is it, as Tornado put it, it is a tool, and
Right.
so you have to think of it that way, as a tool. It is not your coach. It's not your soothsayer. It's not, it's not your mom. It's just it's ones and zeros that have been trained to work together and spit out content to you.
Right.
So you just have to be mindful of that fact, and don't take everything that it says at face value, but at the same time, sometimes it does offer up insights that you may not normally get from just asking a person, "Hey, could you watch my channel and just let me know what you thought about this episode?" Because that's asking a lot out of somebody.
Right.
ChatGPT doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
Um,
Yeah, because I'm gonna
yeah.
be nice to you. I might give you one point. You know how most people are. They'll give you something because you asked for it. Hey, you could probably have done this better. But I'm sure
Yeah.
ChatGPT will give you several things you could do better. Now let's
Well, it's
see
like that
how.
sandwich. Like HR gives you the sandwich, like they're about to, it's a letdown sandwich, right? You start out
Right.
with something positive, you go to the negative, and you wrap up with the positive. And
Right.
ChatGPT just
This
out the
gives it to
window.
you. So maybe this will help. Maybe we can look up this effect, the Zergonon effect. I hope I'm pronouncing that the right way. Is one major key to holding attention for video openings. Okay. Okay, I like that. Hey, y'all, look this up and see if we can wrap our minds around this effect and learn the secret weapon, so we could do a better job of holding people's attention in the beginning. We all could use that. I'm definitely on that 100%.
Hmm.
We were encouraged to use it to find weaknesses in our thesis for, there you go, our English university. I think that is perfect for that kind of stuff. I don't
Hmm.
know what the rules are. He says he was encouraged to use it for school. I just think that it's perfect for a lot of things when it comes to that.
Man,
As
we
a
couldn't even
person,
bring
for
calculators
me,
into the classroom.
say that again.
We couldn't even bring calculators into
I
the
know, right?
classroom. Like,
But they're
now they're
changing it up.
encouraging them to use ChatGPT.
Well, I think that everybody knows that it's not a fight to have. Like, you have to teach
Right,
people how to use it, because you can't fight against it.
right.
It is the future. So how do we make this work for us? Are we going to be dumber I think there's a way that we could be smarter and use ChatGPT all at the same time. I'm not the guru
Yeah.
of all of that. I'm not in school, so I use it, and people don't know the difference. So I have friends, and I'm really wrapping up with this. This is my last story. That people would just call me Jeremy based off what we do as content creators and just being known as a media person in the city. And they would ask me random questions. A lot of these questions are, these are the steps, like what steps you have to take. And I'm not
Right.
like, I could tell you, but they're emailing me and I need to write them a response. Man, ChatGPT does it in seconds. It does it so fast that sometimes I would hold up sending the message so that it looked like I took the time to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't
There's
that
the
funny?
there's the there's the Mac OS, the new Sequoia has a send later feature for your email, so
Right,
you can do that. It's got the
right.
writing tools built in, which is ChatGPT anyway, and then you can tell it to send later, just so it makes it look like you worked on
That I
it.
worked
But
on
yeah,
it. Like, how did he
yeah,
write this 3-page information in 10 minutes? All right. Hey, I'm working on it. I'll let me think about this a little bit and I'll send you something tomorrow. It's done.
right, yeah, right.
It's done. But I just didn't want it to look like, I just
Or
resent
send it
something
at
to
like
you.
two. Schedule it to send at 2:30 in the morning, so it looks like you've been up all
All
night
night
trying
working
to
on
get
it.
this right. Right.
Hey, you better use this because I spend a lot of time giving you this information when I know the information I give them, they're not going to use anyway. I'm just looking smart. All right. So,
Right.
hey,
Right.
Jeremy, thanks for your time, man. I know that you're
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
you're doing something over there. Let me ask you this question
Yeah.
because I was talking to, everybody is doing this deal with AI right now. Not AI, but
Hmm.
ChatGPT or Sora, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it the right way because I always mispronounce that one. With the dolls, the action figures,
Yeah.
and people were saying, "Well, can I not just get an action figure printed out?" I'm like, it's really not that simple. Like, if you wanted to get an action figure like that, there's a way that you can print it out, like 3D printing, but it's not going to print the
Hmm.
color. Like, if you just want one or two of, even if you want a 10, like, it's like you can print it, but then you got to color it. You got to put it in all the colors. If you went to China or whatever and had somebody build it and do a mock-up, it's going to be tons of money. And you're going to have to really buy thousands of these things to make it make sense.
Yeah.
So there's really, not an easy way to do this. Now, I will say this, there is a store in New York that I've seen advertised that you can go in and get a full body scan and they are printing those these toys in house
Mm.
that you can get. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I
Yep.
was like, man, that's worth a trip to New York. But for everybody that's got these little dolls that they're building with ChatGPT, it's not a real 3D render model that can be printed. So what do you think?
Well, you'd be surprised, as I was when I got back into 3D printing. I started back in like the late 2000s, 2008, 2009, and that was a one color print.
Gotcha.
And it was a $60,000 machine to do one color, and it took forever. And now, I, there are there are printers, consumer grade printers that actually do multiple colors. So theoretically, if you limited the colors to whatever the max color range that this printer could accept is, you could print out a character.
Okay.
You could, and there actually is. I saw this morning on I don't know, some advertisement. There is a website out there that you can say, "Give me a 3D model of blah," and it will create a model, a 3D model for you that's in some kind of, open format. And chances are you probably pull it into the 3D printer program and slice it up into the whatever data it needs, the G code that it needs. And I mean, I think we're getting to that point. I really do.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
Something
yeah,
to think
it's
about.
crazy. Yeah, it
Something to
is.
think about. But
It is.
again, as a content creator, I can take a prompt that I found and give you a picture. But I'm not going to be a content creator that's trying to find China, um, what you call that, companies that could, suppliers that can print out these characters. That's just not it. There's not enough money in it for me to do that. It's not the kind
No.
of money I want to make. I guess I'm saying it like that.
Right, right. Well, yeah, and it is a niche thing, but I tell you, I don't know if you've seen those little Funko dolls, those little, they kind of have like square heads, like
The
bobbleheads, and I
bobblehead,
don't
uh
know,
huh.
they're really pop. Yeah, but it's like a specific style to it. Anyway, their headquarters is right up the road, an hour drive away, and they have it so you can go in and you can scan your face and you can add your little uh accessories to it, and then it will print out. It'll spit out a you as one of these little dolls.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, I mean, and they're making so much money off of this. It's ridiculous. But for you and I to get into something like this, we're so far behind
Right.
that you need to be bankrolled to the tune of at least 30-40 million dollars just to get rolling with
Wow.
this. So yeah, it's not even.
It's not. It's not the kind of money I want. I get it. Hey guys,
I'd
I'm
rather.
going to be off, Jeremy, for a couple of weeks. So we'll actually do a couple of shows in May and maybe one show in June, and really won't come back until July. The stream show is still around, but I'm taking my content creator break so I can refresh. And my wife is doing a ton of traveling as a jazz artist, and I want to be sure that I carry her bags and focus on her and not her and the stream show. So, hey guys, I really appreciate you being a part of the show. Jeremy, thank you for jumping on today, and I will see you
Absolutely.
in May. All right, guys, this has been the Stream Show. Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of the Stream Show.